Alright, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Noah. This is my YouTube channel where I pretty much discuss different historical and political events and ideologies and put them into historical context in our own modern conception. Today I've noticed in today's world a lot of recently people's dislikes and almost hatred of history and anything about the past, as well as blaming people's descendants of the actions of the people who came before them, blaming them for certain it's considered inappropriate today, but at the time it was considered normal, and we're trying to blame today's their ancestors on their choices, and it makes no sense because they weren't even around then. We shouldn't really attack one another based on our past, because instead of learn from it and pass it on to the next generation of people. That's the whole point of history, is learning. And it seems a lot of history now is just assigning blame to one another. This whole idea of victimhood, of trying to be the next victim, which is just, it doesn't lead to anything. It doesn't. Our history should compound on itself. We shouldn't really have just black history or European history or Asian history. It's all our history, and our history should compound on itself and be built and read rather than destroyed. I really hate the fact that we're tearing down certain monuments. I really hate the fact that we're trying to replace names. That's not going to lead to anything. It'll just lead to people being stupid. We should just embrace our history, rather the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it, rather than try to smite it as evil and worthless. I hear a lot about certain parts of history is just worthless, or history in general is just worthless, and that's just not true. It's not true because you're just stupid. To be honest, you're just stupid. The only way to really solve problems these days is pretty much in the present of trying to learn from the past. Even if the future can be seen in the past, we can see things coming a lot of times if we just read from the past. And we don't read enough anymore in the world. We don't read, specifically in America anymore. American reading scores are at the all-time lows. People just scroll on their phones, take videos all the time. Open up a book, take the time to read. It makes a huge difference. And it's all to see this. And history doesn't really repeat itself. I don't like the concept that history always repeats itself. I don't really like this concept of it. It more or less hiccups. History hiccups. It's all seen the same. When I say hiccup, it all seems the same, but each one is slightly different. Each hiccup's going to be slightly different than the next, just like history's going to be slightly different than the next. Each event sounds the same, looks the same, but it's slightly different than the one previously. And this will help us solve what the world might turn into in the future. Everyone likes seeing what the future's going to hold, but no one wants to take the work in trying to find out what it is. They just want to sit and watch TV, and they want to watch the reality TVs and YouTube and trying to what people are going to tell them. Don't wait for someone to tell you. Go out and research it. Go out and find it. Don't sit and wait. And those who generally don't like history and almost hate it, have a vengeance for it, also ones who can't accept their own faults in themselves, where they have a sense of failure in themselves, that they know from that it seems like the world's against them. They have the sense that the world is against me, why even try? And it's a horrible attitude. You think the American slaves working the plantation had the sense of, God, this is awful, but there's nothing I can do about it? No, most famous one, Harriet Tubman, tried to get out and try to not only get herself out, but try to get as many others out as she can. There's always something you can do. Don't ever think you can't go out and do something. You can always do something. If you're alive and breathing, you can go out and do something. Pretty much reading through history myself, it's about the stories of certain people. I don't think we teach enough of the stories of the people, rather than we get the general overglance of all of it and just frustrates and confuses people, rather than try to get the stories out of it, the true lessons to be learned from it. We think we get the general lecture about a certain event, and that's just good enough. And it generally isn't, because there's so much more you can go into it, and there's so much you're leaving out of it that just leaves people more confused about what it is that you just told them about. I run into this problem all the time, especially when I'm teaching history itself. There's so much more I want to get into it, but I don't have the time to do it because the time restrictions and the amount of what I have to get done. The administrative part of my job doesn't allow me to elaborate more into what I really want to do. It shows people you also reading through it shows you people who generally people you never heard of, but they serve the greatest importance in the outcome of that event. And that's what a lot of history is about, the events that go on, about the lessons from these events. And it really changes your life more once you realize that it's the little people. Not necessarily the big name people that we all heard of, George Washington, Lincoln, Henry Ford, and all these people, but the smaller names who actually came up with the ideas. Not just the ones who put the ideas into action, but the ones who developed the ideas and produced it and made people's lives actually better from it. But this is also a good thing because it allows you to focus on self-improvement. This study of history allows you to seek your own self-improvement and self-realization of who are you and what you want to be. If you look back into history, you can find characteristic traits in certain people that you want to take up yourself. You also find character traits that you want to stay away from. You also generally want to see the trends of how people interact with one another, how trends of social groups interact with another, and which groups you want to be a part of and which groups you want to stay away from. This is all history. This is all teachings from history that we as society seem to want to avoid, when in actuality we need to embrace more of. And this seems to be the part of history that is the most enjoyable, and finding out what happened before me to show me, and show people, just to improve your own life and live the best life you can. Finding out what people did before you, finding out how people lived before you and what they believed in might change how you view the world. Maybe the world now isn't as bad as you think it is. Maybe it's actually better. Maybe it's just simply different. It changes. The world has been around for 4.6 billion years. It's gone through changes. Maybe these changes are going to be good. Maybe these changes are going to be bad. But the only way you can do is to study it and try to go out there and project what your thoughts are on the rest of the world, on other people you're around. And try your best to just find a mission in your life. Find something you value the most and seek it out. Pursue it. Make it your life mission and your life goal, that this is what I want to do in my life. This is what I'm going to do, and try to be the best at it. Find all the little avenues that go along with it and try to be the best you can at it. Seek out the best in every little thing you can do, in every avenue you like. Even the sub-avenues you can find within what you enjoy. This will give you the best joy in life and give you the best purpose in life. And generally, you can eventually start making money off of it. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and click subscribe to leave me a comment. And see you next time.